Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I'm Count Jackula.
And today we got a real treat for you because we're talking about Street Trash 2024, which is written and directed by Ryan Kruger, who you may know as the writer-director of Fried Berry, the psychedelic alien invasion. I guess not really invasion, more like alien visiting.
Alien possession.
Alien possession cult classic that came out a few years ago, which makes him the perfect fit to remake the cult classic 1987 splatter flick Street Trash about a bunch of hobos who start dying because there's some liquor that apparently just makes people melt. But this movie's a little bit different because it's not a straight up remake of Street Trash.
No, it's actually a sequel.
It is a sequel and acknowledges the events of the original movie within the plot of this new movie, which is pretty damn cool. This movie reimagines Street Trash as a dystopian, post-apocalyptic, I guess technically not post-apocalyptic, but definitely near future science fiction story about a group of hobos who go up against a fascist mayor who's seeking to cleanse his city of the homeless population using the formula the liquor used back in the 1987 movie to melt the homeless population.
Yeah, it's set in Cape Town, South Africa.
Yep.
Like all of Ryan Kruger's movies.
Absolutely.
So if you've seen Fried Berry, which you really should have, you're gonna have a little bit of an idea what you're in for, but not entirely. Whoa. If you've seen Fried Berry, one of the things that you're going to be asking yourself is, does the guy who played Berry show up in this movie? Yes.
He does.
He does. Does essentially play the same character, but it's not Berry. It's a different character who is constantly hallucinating.
Yep. He is a character named 2-Bit who is constantly hallucinating a character named Sockle, who is a puppet. And I don't mean he's a puppet within universe. I mean he is a puppet creature that is being controlled by a puppeteer in real life. But in the actual in-universe story, we don't know what the hell he is.
Yeah, he's just like some little weird alien guy that only 2-Bit sees.
Yes, and wants to fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Every hole's a goal. Come on.
Exactly.
No.
And is actually voiced by Ryan Kruger himself based on what the credits say. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Compared to the original Street Trash, there's definitely more of a story going on here.
Yes, that's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah.
The original Street Trash does have a story, but it is way more loose with it. This has a way more streamlined and clear storyline with an actual like villain
and a stake and
characters learn and grow.
Yeah.
And actually have arcs.
Yeah, because if you've seen the original Street Trash, nothing really changes except for some people explode and melt.
Yes, which does happen in this movie.
Yeah, it does happen in this movie a lot.
There are people exploding and melting, and the effects for them are fantastic. I do have one criticism of it, though. I wanted a little bit more creativity with how people explode and melt.
Yeah.
Because the original Street Trash was really great about not doing the same effect twice. So, like, you would have, like, one person scream and melt the way they largely do in this movie.
Yeah.
And then the next person would like melt into a toilet or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I was kind of hoping this movie would do that. It largely stuck to the same kind of screaming, melting, bubbling formula in this movie. And while I loved it every time they did it, I kind of wish that he at least had variated it a little more.
Well, the original Street Trash only really happens like three
True.
times. In this one, it happens to a lot of people.
That's true. It makes up for it with like the amount.
Volume. It makes up for it in volume.
Not a lot of variety, but a lot of volume. The original Street Trash you watch because its whole goal was to be as hilariously offensive as possible.
Yeah.
This one obviously went into it with a different goal. It's still doing a whole lot of like hilarious and offensive things, but it actually has like a narrative and a point.
Yeah. The point really is sympathy for the homeless.
Yes, the homeless are actually sympathetic characters in this movie, and this actually is a movie about a class war. The homeless versus the fascist and the rich. Melt the rich is basically the whole ethos of this movie. I actually really love love the characters in this movie.
Yeah, the characters in this movie are really good.
The entire ragtag group of homeless people that you follow in this movie, you know, Roland, Chef,
Hap and Wars,
2-Bit, I forget his name, but there's a character who's literally just the cameraman.
Awfully.
Something like that.
Yeah, like that's one of the weird things that this movie does. This movie breaks the fourth wall only to put another fourth wall in front of you.
Yeah. Now, he's not the camera the whole time. This isn't like a found footage movie or anything.
No.
When he is there, he is in the first person, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes they break the fourth wall and they'll be like, hey, how you doing, Awfully? And all of a sudden this hand will appear and be like, Rawr.
But what I like about it is it's a very simple trick. It's a joke, first off, which is very funny. But it's also a very simple trick to make you, the audience, feel like you're one of this crew.
Yeah.
You're one of this family, this found family of homeless people. You're among them.
Yeah. Real easy trick to get you to like buy in.
Absolutely.
Which I thought was really brilliant on top of actually just having fun with the fourth wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and some of the side characters too are really cool, like Society.
Society is great.
Yeah.
Society is the local drug dealer who everyone goes to get their supplies and their fixes. But he's also like the old wise man.
Yeah, he's the old wizard. You know?
When we get to the spoiler section, we'll talk more about some of the awesome things he does later in the movie. I also like, I think her name is Alex.
Alex, yeah.
She's kind of like the audience surrogate at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
She's the one who joins the crew and has to learn everything for the first time. So we're kind of learning it through her eyes.
Yeah, she's kind of the most normal.
Exactly.
You know?
Usually a character like that can be really boring and bland.
Yeah.
But she actually was kind of fun to watch.
Yes.
I also liked some of the other factions in this city, like the Rat King.
Yeah.
And that whole crew.
Another thing that they reminded me of, because of the outfit the guy's wearing.
Yeah.
You are the Duke. You are the A1.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yes. That's another movie this movie references a lot.
Yeah, Escape from New York.
Escape from New York.
One of the things that's really interesting about this movie is that it pays homage to almost any movie where someone melts because of industrial waste.
Oh, yeah. There's a little bit of RoboCop in this.
A little bit of RoboCop, a little bit of Body Melt. If you've seen those movies, you're like, oh, I know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you're doing.
As well as, obviously, the original Street Trash. Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I even thought there was a little bit of BioCop in this, which may just be because BioCop is taking inspiration from the same sources that this movie is.
Yes.
There's also a little bit of Warriors in this.
Oh, definitely.
You know, you could tell that they weren't just like homaging Street Trash. They were taking from all the post-apocalyptic dystopian future movies of the 80s and kind of throwing it into a blender here.
Yeah, well, it was really odd that they chose to make it like near future.
Well, it's the perfect excuse to take the problems of the now and just like exaggerate it to where like this is the ultimate conclusion of where we're going.
Yeah.
They kind of do that while also threading the needle of being an 80s throwback. And one thing I did like was that because they made it a sequel, it allowed them to like homage things from the original movie without like directly recreating scenes.
Yeah.
So like the movie opens with an elaborate chase scene, but it's not the same elaborate chase scene from the original movie. It's a very different one. It's even more fucked up, if anything. This movie opens up with some shit you don't want to spoil. It was pretty fucking shocking. This movie is gory as all shit. It's nasty as all shit. There's a point in which nearly all of us in the room watching it nearly threw up.
Whoa.
And it wasn't even a gore scene.
No. It had to do with feet.
Yeah, it was a sexual fetish scene, if anything else.
God. Oh, dude, I'm drinking coffee.
I know.
Here. Oh.
And the movie's just fucking hilarious. It's a lot of juvenile humor, but I'm all for juvenile humor. And to be clear, the original Street Trash was also very juvenile too.
Oh, yeah, very. Them playing keep away with a guy's dick.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. Given the current state of the world, or should I say the current state of our country, this movie was immensely cathartic to have this very unabashed class war movie that's very much fuck the rich. Or as this movie would put it, melt the rich. If you too need something like that, need that jolt of catharsis, then this is the movie for you. Street Trash 2024 is currently available on the Screambox, but it is also available to rent on other streaming platforms, so if you don't have Screambox, you can pay the $5 and check it out yourself. Trust me, it is totally worth it. We had a blast. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoiler section so we can talk about all the fucked up things that happen in this movie. So this is what sets the tone for the entire movie, is this chase sequence, which, to be clear, is after we've already watched our first person melt. We get this chase sequence where the main character is being chased by a cop. In this chase sequence, they homage some things from the original movie, like he runs into 2 other hobos and steals their cocaine. But the chase culminates in a dude getting sprayed with, like, vapor Viagra.
Yeah.
Getting a hard-on, and then having that hard-on shut in a gate and ripped off.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of this movie. That's where we start. That's the starting point of this movie.
Well, there's also like that scene where the cop with the hard-on is actually what are you looking at?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're not on board with that, you're not going to be on board with the rest of the movie.
Whoa. Never let it be said that Ryan Kruger don't go all the way.
He does. He does. So this movie goes, about where you think it's gonna go. The corrupt mayor has used in mad scientist to inject the formula that was in the booze into these spray canisters.
Yeah.
That are distributed around the city to the cops and to these drones that they have distributing food to the homeless.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the canisters have
the logo,
the Viper logo from the 80s.
Yep. Was it Terrafly Viper or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They're spraying them on the homeless to kill them one by one to basically commit homeless genocide. That is his goal. He is cleaning up the city in the most fucked up way possible. Throw them into literal gas chambers by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I've heard of some authors that use subtext. They are all cowards.
They are all cowards, every single one of them. So we have this group of homeless people that basically have to survive this oncoming Holocaust. And they do so by banding together and taking drugs. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. Take drugs. They solve your problems.
They band together, they steal shit, and they take drugs. That's primarily what they do, but it's also their superpower. There's a point in this movie after they've been captured by the mayor where the drug dealer guy, Society,
yeah,
basically tells Roland, the primary hobo we've been following for most of the movie, that, okay, now is the time you can take this very special drug you've been wanting the whole movie.
First of all, he's like a drug dealer from an 80s movie because he's like, like he's got a jacket that's got all of his stuff just like, hanging out there. And one of them's a glowing blue vial.
And the character's been wanting it the entire movie, but society keeps telling them, no, you're not ready. He is finally ready by the third act of this movie. And basically what that drug does is it makes him think he's invincible and kick a lot of ass.
Yeah.
He becomes John Wick, but high.
Yeah. It's like the 6-demon bag, the potion of wind and fire.
Yeah. 100% feels like a magic potion he takes at the end to save all his friends from being holocausts.
Yeah.
That is fucking phenomenal. That's the wavelength this movie's on.
Yeah.
And also, when he takes the drug, he can see the invisible man that
he can see Sockle, the blue fucking alien dude.
Which is fucking great. Now, you're probably wondering, what was it that made us nearly throw up when we were watching this movie? It wasn't a gore scene. Again, it was a sexual fetish scene. Because when we're introduced to the character of the Rat King turns out to be a lady, first off. And she is a lady who's basically on life support.
Yeah.
And she is running this criminal empire, and she is having her goons go out and like shake people down for batteries to keep her life support going.
Right.
But she has a little gimp, a gimp guy, a little minion dude who's always on all fours and is on like a leash.
Yeah.
Who she feeds by covering her foot in the food for him to lick off.
Yeah. It's really hard to describe why this is so disgusting.
It's a combination of how dirty and disgusting her feet look, And the sound effects.
The sound effects, yeah. Like, this is some, like, greasy strangler kind of shit going on where you're like, oh, whoa.
And of all the things in the movie, this is the thing that got us. This is the thing where we're just like, oh,
my stomach.
I'm not feeling good, boss. I'm not feeling good, boss.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets you. You'll know it when you see it.
I do love how over the top this movie gets with like the bubbling flesh.
Yeah.
When people are melting, there are points where the bubbles like get like half the size of their head before they burst with blood or goo or whatever fucking color.
It's that neon green blue shit.
Yeah, or purple.
Purple. Yeah, sometimes it's purple.
There's a point in which one person looks like they're covered in ketchup and mustard.
That's true. Yeah.
I did tear up a little bit. There's a point in which a character that you've grown to love over the course of this movie, Chef, who is basically like the most Jewish hobo you've ever met.
Yeah.
That's basically his primary character trait. He's also like the heart of the group.
Yeah, he's the heart of the team. Yeah.
And there's a point in which he dies. He ends up getting sprayed by one of the drones that they're trying to capture so they can get the battery to bring to the Rat King. And he gets sprayed in the face and his head explodes off his head. It ends up landing in his friend's hands.
Yeah. And if you're like, wait, is Ryan Kruger doing something because like the guy was Jewish and there's like this evil gas and stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Subtext is for cowards.
Subtext is for cowards, 100%. It is very clear the connection he is drawing in this movie.
Yes.
So the end of this movie is basically a massive shootout / gore fest because they're not just shooting each other out, they're also like throwing the canisters.
They get a hold of like the gas canisters and start using them against rich people.
Yeah, so like the cops start melting.
Yeah.
And like the rich people start melting and they're also like shooting each other and like Roland is running around like John Wick but super high.
Yeah.
And he's like taking bullets, but he's not actually bulletproof. He just can't feel the bullets. Like a crazy action-packed final act, which is not something you would expect out of a street trash movie.
No.
Like the finale of this movie feels like something more out of like a RoboCop. So yeah, street trash. I fucking love this movie. It gave me everything I wanted and so much more.
Yeah. It exceeded expectations.
And I was laughing my ass off the entire time.
I was with the movie the entire time. One of the things I kind of like about Ryan Kruger is I feel like he's a filmmaker that I'm actually on a similar wavelength to.
No, 100%.
You know, because
I can see that.
Every time I was like, if this were my movie, this is what I would do. And then it would happen. And I'd be like, yeah.
You get it, man.
You get
it, Kruger. Also, be sure, I'm not going to spoil this for you. If you watch this movie, stay through the credits. One of the funniest bits in this movie is in the post-credit scene.
And it comes after all the credits. It's literally the last thing you see.
Yep, it is a perfect capper to this movie.
Yep.
It is very much them winking at the camera.
If you liked Frightberry or the original Street Trash, you're going to love this movie.
100%.
You're gonna love this movie. Really good. Don't know what else to say. You should watch it.
With that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky at countjackula.bsky.social.
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Blue Sky because I actually did leave Twitter. My account's still there. I haven't deactivated it yet, but I'm not going to be using it. So follow me on Blue Sky instead. You can also follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Threads, and Instagram. So look me up there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag #MeltTheRich. Use the hashtag #MeltTheRich, that way I know. That way Jack knows. That way the whole world knows which side of the class war you're on. Because you're gonna have to pick a side.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pick a side.
Otherwise they're gonna melt you. Because they don't give a fuck.